This video is over how to divide decimals. So before we do that, let's look at our number routine. How do you know? How do you know 54 times 3 and 1300 will equal 169 and 210 thousandths place? And how do you know 54 and 3 and 1300ths will equal or equivalent to 169 and 2 hundredths? Well, two ways. There are 4 digits behind the decimal point. 4 digits. There are 2 digits behind the decimal point. 2 digits. One way. Another way is, could we estimate? 54 is close to 50. 3 and 1300 is close to 3. 50 times 3 is 150. Is that kind of close to it? It is. If you wanted, we could have approximate to 55. 55 times 3 is, I don't know, 55 plus 55 is 110. About 165, which is close to 169. This is what I prefer. The hundredths place times the hundredths place is the 10,000ths place. Hence, you have to have a decimal of 10,000ths place. This times hundredths place is hundredths place. That's what I prefer. Alright, so let's look at our do now. Ishii makes $8.50 an hour rolling sushi at a restaurant. His paycheck shows that he worked 6 5/10 hours over the past 2 days. How much did he make before taxes? This is your option. So we know he makes $8.50 every hour he works. So he works 6 hours, 6.5 hours. So we need to multiply then. So do you prefer lining up the decimal point and then multiplying? Nothing wrong with that. Do you prefer just multiplying like this way? 8 and 50 hundredths times 6 and 5/10. It is up to you. So, which one do you prefer? All right, we'll do this one. 0, 0, 0. I'm done with the ones place. Now it's time to do the tens place. I put a placeholder so I know I'm done with the ones place. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 5 times 8 is 40 plus 2 is 42. Now I'm done with the tens place. I'm working with this one. And so I need to have 2 digits, 2 placeholders. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 5 is 30. Carry the 3. 6 times 8 is 48 plus 3 is 41. If I add up these 3 rows, I will get 0, 0, 5, 2, 5, and 4. There's 4 digits behind the decimal point, so right here. So he will be paid. Is this correct? Alright, I messed up here. You know how I know I messed up here? 8 times 6 is 48. And this is not. This is less than 48. Let me go back and see my mistake. 0. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry 2. 5 times. No, that's correct. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 5 is 30. Carry the 3. Oh, how embarrassing. 6 times 8 is 48. With 3 is 51. That should be a 5. So this should be a 5. So that's why it's always, I use reasonableness for this. I knew something was wrong here because if I had estimate, he makes about $8 an hour. He worked about 6 hours. 8 times 6 is around $48. So I knew our answer has to be around 48. 41 was way too low, so I knew it had to be $55.25. If you had done it this way, you would have gotten this answer. 5, 5, 2, 5, 0. How many digits are behind the decimal point? 3 digits. So we move it 3 digits. Or, I like this way. This is the hundredths place. This is the tenths place. Hundredths times tenths is thousandths place. So I knew this should be in the thousandths place. So today we're going to learn how to divide decimal. Let's get on my highlighter. I have 65 cents. 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents, and 65 cents. How many nickels are in 65 cents? What is a nickel equivalent to? 5 hundredths. So I start again with 65 cents. I am dividing it. I'm finding how many groups of nickels or how many groups of 500s go into 6,500. So let's count. There is 1 nickel, 2 nickels, 3 nickels, 4 nickels, 5 nickels, 6 nickels, 7 nickels, 8 nickels, 9 nickels, 10 nickels, 11 nickels, 12 nickels, 13 nickels. 13. What if I do not want to use a graph? Is there another way I can do this? Yes, you can. Can I rewrite this in fractional form? Yes, you can. So 65 hundredths divided by 5 hundredths. I don't know about you, but I do not like working with decimals. I rather work with friendlier, prettier numbers. Whole numbers, pretty much. What can I multiply 65 hundredths and 500 so that the denominator, 500, is just 5, a whole number? What can I multiply 5 hundredths? Well, this is in the hundreds place, so I will multiply by 100. So if you multiply 5 hundredths by 100, you get 5. If you multiply 6,500 by 100, you get 65. And if you divide 65 by 5, you will get 13 whole. So that's how you can divide by decimal without using picture. Rewrite it in fractional form and work with friendlier numbers, such as whole numbers. Let's try another example. I have 9 tenths. Let's highlight 9 tenths. 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, 8 tenths, and 9 tenths. I want to divide it into groups of 3 tenths. How many groups of 3 tenths will go into 9 tenths? Well, here's one group of 3 tenths. Here's another group of 3 tenths. Here's a third group of 3 tenths, so it must be 3. 3 is the answer. There are 3 groups of 3 tenths that go into 9 tenths. If you're looking at this and say, how can I solve this without using pictorial model? Let's rewrite this division of decimal in fractional form. I don't know about you, but I'd rather work with friendlier numbers. How can I turn this 3 tenths to a friendly number of 3 whole? I'm going to multiply by what power of 10? What place value is this in? In 10. 10. So 3 tenths times 10 is 3 whole. 9 tenths times 10 is 9 whole. What is 9 divided by 3? 3 is the answer. Let's look at another example. You have 28 hundredths, 10 hundredths, 20 hundredths, and 28 hundredths. I would like to divide it in groups of 4 hundredths. How many groups of 4 hundredths go into 28 hundredths? One group of 4 hundredths, 2 groups of 4 hundredths, 3 groups of 4 hundredths, 4 groups of 4 hundredths, 5 groups of 4 hundredths, 6 groups of 400, and 7 groups of 400. So it is 7. What if you rather prefer using mathematically? Let's rewrite this division of decimal in fractional form. 2800 divided by 400ths. I don't know about you, but I do not like working with decimals. I'd rather work with friendlier numbers such as 4 whole. How can I, what power of 10, what can I multiply 400ths by to just get 4? This is in the hundreds place, so I'm going to multiply it by 100. Multiply by 100. So 400 times 100 is 4. 2800 times 100 is 28. And what is 28 divided by 4? 7. Oh, have you seen a shortcut yet? When I multiply by 100s, is that moving the decimal 2 over to become 4? And moving this decimal 2 over to become 28? So maybe some of you may prefer that instead of multiplying. The reason why we're moving the decimal 2 over is because we're multiplying by the power of 100. Next example, 6/10. So shade in 6/10. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10. How many groups of 1500 fit into 6/10? Here's one group of 1500s. Here's two groups of 1500s. Here's three groups of 1500. Here's four groups. So there are four groups of 1500s in 6/10. What if you don't want to use pictorial model? Can you rewrite this division of decimal in fractional form? 6/10 divided by 1500. I don't know about you, but I prefer working with friendlier numbers. How can I turn 1500ths to just 15? What power of 10 should I multiply by? Well, this is in the hundreds place, so I'm going to multiply by 100. In other words, I'm moving the decimal point 2 places to the right, 15. If I multiply 6/10 by 100, I move the decimal 2 places to the right. That would be 60. So 60 divided by 15 is 4. There are 4 groups of 1500s in 6/10. So again, shortcut, if you prefer shortcut, you move this 2 over, you move this decimal 2 over. So that's why it's 60 over 15, because if we're multiplying by the power of 100. Here's our last example using pictorial model. Shade in 7500ths. 1000, 2000s, 3000s, 4000s, 5000, 6000, 7000s, and 7500s. How divided into 5/10? How many groups of 5/10 go into 7500? One group. Ooh, we don't have enough here. So if one group goes into it, we have 25 pieces left. So 25 out of 50 pieces. Do you know another way to say 1 and 25 50? Isn't 25 half of 50? So 1 and a half. How can you say that in decimal form? 1 and 5/10. So how many groups of 5/10 go into 7500? One whole group and half of a group, or 1 and 5/10. If you're looking at this, what if you do not prefer using pictorial model? Can you rewrite this division of decimal in fractional form? So we have 7500 divided by 5/10. I don't know about you, but I want to work with friendlier numbers of 5. So I'm changing this divisor of 5/10 into a friendlier number of 5. How? I'm multiplying by the power of 10. Or I'm moving the decimal point 1 over to the right. 1 over to the right becomes 5. If I move this decimal 1 over to the right, it's 7 and 5/10. So what is 7 and 5/10 divided by 5? Can 5 go in 7? 1 time. 2 is a remainder. Bring down the 5. How many 5s go in 25? 5 times. And hence, that's where we get 1 and 5/10. Same thing like our pictorial model. So to turn a fraction to a decimal, you turn, remember, a dividend divided by divisor equal quotient. So if you're seeing a division problem, you rewrite it into a fractional form. So let's try word problems with it now. Maria has $1.80 and wants to buy gum that costs 3 cents each. How many pieces of gum can she buy? So she has $1.80. She wants to divide it and figure out how many groups of 300s go into $1.80. Let's rewrite that in fractional form. $1.80 over 300s. I don't know about you, but I want this divisor 300s to be friendlier number of 3 whole. So what should I multiply 300s by to turn it to 3 whole? I multiply by the power of 100. In other words, I'm moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So if I have $1.80 and I multiply it by 100, I move the decimal 2 over to the right, that'd be 180. And what is 180 divided by 3? Can you do that in your head, or do we need to divide it? It is 60 pieces. So how many gum pieces or that cost 3 cents go into $1.80? 60 of them. 60 groups of 3 cents. If you multiply 60 times 3 cents, you'll get $1.80. Check your work. Number 2. Susie has 2 7/10 meters of ribbon. She is making some bow. Each bow uses 9/10 meters of ribbon. How many bows can she make? So we know we need to figure out how many 9/10 go into 2 7/10 because we're subtracting it away. Repeated subtraction is really division. Can I rewrite this decimal in a fractional form? Yes, I can. 2 7/10 divided by 9/10. How can I make this into friendlier numbers? I multiply by the power of 10. Some of you will say, can I just move this one over to decimal point? I guess. But the mathematical, you're multiplying by the power of 10. So, could you do this in your head? What's 27 divided by 9? It is 3. 3 bows go into, she has enough to make 3 bows. How can we solve this? Check our work. 9/10 for the first bow, 9/10 for the next bow, that's 1/8. 9/10 for the third bow, that's 2 7/10. So 3 bows. Mr. Joe purchased a piece of cheddar that is 3 2/10 meters long. He intends to cut the cheddar into smaller pieces, 8/10 meters lengths. How many pieces will he have after cutting the cheese? You don't get a joke, do you? Anyway, so it's 3 2/10. I'm dividing it into smaller pieces of 8/10. So can I rewrite this in fractional form? 3 2/10 divided by 8/10. I don't know about you, but I want to work with friendlier numbers. How can I turn this 8/10 to just 8 whole? Move the decimal 1 over, move the decimal 1 over, so that's 32. Again, why are we moving the decimal 1 over? We're multiplying by the power of 10. 32 divided by 8 is 4. So 4 pieces. Check my work. 1 piece is 8/10. 2 pieces is 1 6/10. 3 pieces is 2 4/10. 4 pieces is 3 2/10. So 4 pieces. Last but not least, Alvaro has 2 7,500 pounds of chocolate. He is filling 5/10 bags to give away. So he's dividing it into smaller bags of 5/10. How many bags can he fill? Can I rewrite this as in fractional form? Yes, I can. I don't know about you, but I want to work with friendlier numbers. How can I turn this 5/10 to 5? I move the decimal 1 over, so it's 5. Move this 1 over, that's 27 and 5/10. So let's divide this now. Now I can use my table. How many 27 and 5/10 divided into 5? How many 5s go into 27? 5 times. 27 minus 25 is 2. Bring down the 5. How many 5s go in 25? 5 times. So, how many bags can he fill? 5 and 5/10 or 5.5 bags? Again, check your work if you want to. Each one bag fills up 5/10. 2 bags is 1 whole. 3 bags is 1 and 5/10. 4 bags is 2 pounds. 5 bags is 2 and 5/10. And you have 2,500 left. That's half of a bag. And this is how you divide by decimal. You rewrite it in fractional form and you try to work with friendlier numbers by moving the decimal points over.